Hello and welcome back to another episode of Newysports Rates, where we have a look at various things and assign them a particular order based purely on personal preference. Today it is the 18 logos of the AFL teams, the Australian Football League, Aussie rules. Probably, and it pains me to say, probably the biggest sport in the country. Definitely if you're in Victoria. Maybe not New South Wales yet. I say yet. GWS Giants comes in last, and that sort of surprises me because I really like their colours. I love their colours, really. Like, they're great team colours. They're so original, but their logos just... I mean, it looks like a phone company or something. I don't even know. It just does not do it at all for me. Moving on to the Adelaide Crows, who, again, another very big team, but it's not like there's no real outlandishly awful logos, but I just wouldn't mind seeing this in a sort of shield form, as in a more traditional looking, something around it. Like, I think there's plenty you can do with it. At least they got the colours down pat. Their crosstown rivals, Port Adelaide Power. I don't mind the logo. It's classic looking, but the fact that it's just taken Port Adelaide out of the name and just Power. If you don't really know the sport or you don't follow the teams, you don't really know. Like, this looks like some sort of cult thing, like power to the people. I don't know, it just doesn't look like a footy logo. St Kilda, this, I'm not sure, this could be the oldest logo that just hasn't been changed ever, that I can remember, certainly as long as I've followed sport. This is just traditional looking, and that's how they do it there, really. But in terms of logos, it's not that brilliant, so that's why it's pretty low. It's just like the Suns, it's more original looking, but this isn't really doing it for me. I can see what they've done there with the ball shape and the sun and all that. I can see why it works, but there's just so many better logos out there, and unfortunately their football has been about as good as their logo since their inception, really. West Coast Eagles, I didn't know this, but they've changed their logo at the end of last season. Not sure if it's universally liked or disliked over there in Perth, but I don't mind it. I think it's a downgrade though from their other logo. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the bird has changed direction. But anyway, it's around a mid-table logo. Western Bulldogs, again, they changed from their old one to this one. I'm starting to like this one more, and I think this one will be connecting more after that infamous premiership drought-breaking win 2 years ago now. It's a bit cartoony looking, but some of these are, but again, it's not really that great. Brisbane Lions, this, I can't think of what bank, but this looks like a bank logo to me. I don't know, is there a bank that has a lion as their emblem? It just doesn't look, I don't know, it needs like a football or an FC or something on there. Mid-table sort of logo. Next up, a very traditional meeting modern logo, Melbourne Demons. In the last 15 years, I don't think any team in Australia in any sport have changed their logos as much as these guys. It's just amazing how many different logos they've had. The font, the Melbourne, it's not great, but extra points for the Melbourne Football Club. That is just absolute classic, timeless design. Hawthorn, I don't know why the bird's sort of neck is off the side of the yellow gold background. That sort of puts it off a little bit, but it is a very good design, and that's why it's come in so highly on this list. Absolutely love their colours. A lot of people don't like their colours, but I do. The gold and brown, classic. Collingwood, I don't know. I think this is just an anniversary logo for this particular season coming up, but if this is a significant downgrade on such an iconic design that they had prior to this with the two flags. I saw a lot of people complaining that there's no FC on here, and I've got to agree with that. It's Collingwood Football Club. It's not a netball club. It's a football club above all, and I feel like that could have boosted it. Sydney Swans. This is just unbelievably classic design. I cannot see them changing this for a while. Like, there's no need to. The red V, the Opera House, the Swan Head. The only thing that could make it any more Sydney is to somehow get the Harbour Bridge silhouette on there somewhere. But apart from that, it's one of the top logos, and we're getting into the really good ones. Richmond, the Premiers. I would have put this much higher because I like their colours. I like the shield. I like everything about the tiger except its head. It just sort of looks a little bit awkward the way the tiger's head's sitting and looking that opposite way. It looks like it's turned its head and like will probably be damaging its neck. It looks a little bit off to me. Next up, how about this? North Melbourne, another team that's changed their logo in recent times. If I've ever seen a more intimidating looking cartoon kangaroo, I don't even know. Like, this is just like, he seriously looks like he's about to go out there and punch someone, not play football. So that works, but I feel like North is just incredibly huge, but I guess that's what they are, they're North. Carlton, just timeless design. Like, you know, obviously they've changed the shield and the background a little bit over the years, but that CFC, it's just been there forever, and it will remain there forever because this team is one of the traditional teams and a team that really favour their tradition. They don't like changing anything there. Up next, getting into the real top logos, we got Essendon. This would have been number one, but the font I just don't like that much, but the bomber plane is just perfect. I mean, if you've ever been to Melbourne, Essendon's known for football and its Air Force Base sort of airport thing, whatever it is there. You know, you got the jets coming out of there, and that does the job. The Bombers. Oh no, not the top logo. This is number 2, Geelong Cats. Just such an original idea to have the cat's face inside the logo in its colours. Really, it just works, and the blue and white for Geelong, it's such a connection to that town, even with the Ford factory, which I think is closed now. But the team, that's a brilliant logo. But my number one logo in the AFL is Fremantle. This just got updated the other year, I think, but this is just absolutely brilliant logo. It's such a good idea to have the Dockers, the D and the anchor. Everything about this logo works. It just looks so good, and that's why it's number one on this list. And the next episode we'll be moving on to different sports, and I will see you there.